Ask a Silly Question will return after these messages. Question.
If you could save time in a bottle, which experience would you save? Isn't that silly? Bottles are great for saving all kinds of neat things. All you have to do is put that cap on there, and your treasure is safely sealed inside. Now, wouldn't it be neat if we can keep time in a bottle? Here's what I want you to do. Pretend that you can look back on your life, pick just one time, and put it in the bottle and keep it there forever and ever.
Let's find out what experiences the kids from Polk School would keep in their bottle. Who has the first one?
Who's got one back here? Look at all these hands. How about you?
I'd like to save my birth.
Your birth. That's interesting. Why?
So when I die, I can open it up and relive again.
Wow, that's interesting. Would you like that? Well, you could live as many lifetimes as you wanted, huh? What would you do in your second life? Would you change some things? Do you think you want to live the same life?
No.
You don't think so, huh? How about somebody else? What would you keep inside a bottle like this, Ken?
What would you?
The first time when I got up on skis.
Oh, that's exciting. What'd that feel like?
It felt kind of funny when I was flying across the water.
Yeah, but you learned, didn't you? Are you a good skier now? Not yet, huh? You'd still like to be reminded of it, though, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
When I got a new pair of white tennis shoes, and then I could, when I go to throw them away, I could find out what color they were.
That's pretty dirty, huh? That would be, you could join the conservation movement. You'd keep wearing the same shoes, huh? How about another one over here? If I gave you this bottle, Craig, what would you put inside of it? Some time. Do you have some exciting time in your life you'd like to save forever?
When I went snowmobiling.
Was that fun?
I got to drive my own snowmobile.
And you know what? When would you want to take the cap off and let that experience out?
When I got old enough where I couldn't ride no snowmobile.
Wouldn't that be a great use for a bottle like this? You know, you start growing old and all of a sudden you can't do a lot of those things. Take off the cap and you're ready to go.
What's the story?
Michelle's here to tell us about a very neat book that she read. Michelle, what's the name of it?
Bridge to Terabithia.
Bridge to Terabithia. And do you remember the author's name?
Catherine Patterson.
Catherine Patterson. Well, why don't you tell us about it? So maybe it could be something we'll read.
All right, it's about a girl named Leslie and a boy named Jesse. And they're in the 5th grade. And they have this special kingdom called Terabithia. And they have imaginary people, and they have imaginary wars. And when she first moved to the town, she went to school. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, those are tough to remember, things like that.
And she wanted to race with the boys, and they got jealous of her because she always won every time. And Jesse got mad at her, so he wouldn't hang around with her no more. So one day she was getting, like, called names from the girls because she didn't have a TV.
Everybody was picking on her, huh?
Yeah, and he felt sorry for her, so he started playing with her.
Was this the beginning of a friendship between those two?
Yeah.
So go ahead, tell us some more.
And on Christmas, he brought her a puppy, and they named it Prince Tyrion, and that was their prince. And they took him everywhere they went, but not to school.
Really?
And one day he went to the Smithsonian in Washington with his music teacher, Mrs. Edmonds, and while they were there, she tried crossing the river to get to their kingdom, and she slipped off the rope and she fell in the creek.
Oh, and what happened? Did they rescue her?
No, she hit a rock and hit her head, and while he was there, she fell unconscious, and while she was in the water, she drowned.
Oh, my gosh, and Jesse was there and he saw the whole thing?
No, he was...
Oh, he wasn't there?
He was at the Smithsonian in Washington. And when he came back, his family was sitting in the kitchen, and they were just sitting there, and they looked real unhappy, and his mother started crying. And he asked what was the matter, and he told her about.
So that's the way he was reacting to the tragedy, huh?
And he just acted like nothing happened.
Oh, he didn't have any reaction at all? Well, how does it end up? Does he, you know, when something like that happens, you have all this sadness and stuff. How can you get over it? How'd Jesse get over it?
He was angry at her for dying, and in the morning, like, he fell asleep and didn't wake up till the morning, and he was so mad he just ran down to the river and just stood there, and what he got from Christmas from her he threw in the river. That was the paint set.
Really?
And his father came down there.
So how does it end? He's got, you know, he's got all these really tough feelings. Does he end up hating her for the end of the book?
No, he has a sister who's 6. Her name's Maybelle, and she becomes the queen of Terabithia. That's how it ends.
Oh, I see.
So where to get the title of The Bridge to Terabithia?
Well, Leslie read a lot, and in this book she read, that's where she got the name, Terabithia.
What was there about Jesse and Leslie that made them such good friends?
Well, they didn't have no friends. Like, their family, well, her family was nice, but...
They had each other, though,
Yeah.
huh? You know, when you are reading about Jesse and how he handles this tragedy, can you learn from that, too? You know, if a real close friend of yours were to die, having read about Jesse's reaction, do you think that would help you out? And how so? How would that help you?
Well, it could help you, like, if one of your friends do die, you won't have to feel that bad.
Yeah,
if you have other ones.
Yeah. You know, and I guess that could be the moral of the story, huh? Life goes on, and even though these real tough things happen, it seems to work out in the end, huh?